Hey guys, it's Morgan, and today I have a review slash discussion on this big brick of a book. This is The Last of the Firedrakes by Farah Oomerbhoy. I was given this book for free in exchange for being a part of their booktube tour, which is happening right now. I will link in the description box a place where you can enter a giveaway for a copy of this book, as well as the author's social medias and links to buy this book. This is a booktube tour hosted by Loving Dem Books. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get on with it. I have my notes. Let's begin. So this review is going to be part non-spoiler, part spoiler, because I have to talk about it. But the first portion is going to be non-spoiler, and then I will tell y'all before I start talking about these spoilery bits. So this book starts out very Cinderella-esque. You have the adoptive nice uncle, fairly nice uncle, the evil aunt, and the mean cousin. So it starts in modern day. As far as we know, her adoptive parents and her biological parents are dead. There was one typo that I found. It was here instead of her, and that was in the very beginning, and then I didn't find any other typos. So wasn't a big deal, but I thought I'd point that out just to clarify. It's not a perfect book. There are definitely flaws. It wasn't super well edited and definitely pulls from some different popular books. For example, the book almost feels like it pauses halfway through to go to basically Hogwarts. Like, not Hogwarts, but like basically Hogwarts. While that's not bad, and that definitely helps move the plot forward, it still kind of feels like it says, oh, wait, let's put in popular book trope number 1, Hogwarts. It was just a bit clunky towards the beginning. I would say once you get through the first 3 chapters or so, it picks up, but you have to kind of get through that and get into this fantasy world and into it a bit. It is fast-paced once you hit that, and it's very easy to read. I flew through it. I would be reading it and then look down and be 40 pages from where I was 10 minutes ago. So it's a pretty easy to read book. I would have read it quicker if I didn't have a bunch of homework. My criminal justice teacher kind of bombarded us with homework the week that I was trying to read this book, and so that was just crazy, but awkward life things. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. If y'all remember my rating scale, it's definitely a guilty pleasure. Critically speaking, it's maybe not the best book. There are some typos. There are definitely some things that are pulled from popular fiction of recent years, like there's a talking Pegasus. Percy Jackson much? You know, other than that, it's a really good book. It's similar enough to some things that you really kind of want to go, can you do that? It's also similar enough that you kind of feel like you're lapsing into an old friend, while still being different enough that you're interested by the twists and turns that it takes. So I really liked. I'll give her credit. She didn't make the main character a Mary Sue. She definitely had some flaws. There were some times when I was like, oh, come on, fail just a little bit more. Don't be so perfect. But there were other times when she was freaking clueless in a good way, and I was just like, yeah, me. Like, I relate to this. I may harbor a bit of dislike for this book simply because the villain's name is Morgana, and, you know, my name is Morgan, so thanks so much, Miss Ooberbhoy. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name, but thanks so much for naming a villain after me. If you don't want spoilers, I would stop watching now. I'm about to delve further into the book and get a bit more spoilery, so if you don't want spoilers, please leave now, otherwise stay. Hi, how you doing? I'm about to start talking about stuff like the love interest. Okay, so first things first. Did anybody else kind of feel like Ralph was like the Phantom of the Opera in the beginning? He was like, I'm sexy, I wear a mask, and you don't know who I am. And I was like, oi. Okay, really, dude? Like, I get it, but like, however, I didn't see the twist coming. I should have seen the twist coming. I did not see the twist coming. I was like, Oh, snap. Oh. I probably should have. I mean, okay, this is spoilery section. So you guys should know, Raph is the prince. I didn't see that coming, and in the end, she really tries to play that up. Did y'all notice how hard she tried to play it up in, like, the last scene, where he was, like, slightly drunk, and he was like, I'll come on the adventure with you guys, yeah. I was like, I see what you did there, but, like, fail. Also, how could he not have known? When she was telling him how, like, what people said about him, it was almost like, how could he have not known that? Like, he's been masquerading as, like, a peasant. How could he have not known that? Gotta say, there are some parts of this book I'm just like, no, sorry, but no. She really describes things really well. I like her descriptions. You'll hear people talking about how much you can tell that Michael Bay loves cars through the Transformers movies, because the way he shoots the cars is something that you don't quite get to see anywhere else. And I would say that's kind of similar to the way she talks about clothing and furnishing. Her description is really good. It's not as descriptive as I'd like, but I just really like descriptive novels. I like being able to fully immerse myself in the world of the characters. And so it wasn't as descriptive as I would have liked it to be, but it was a lot more descriptive than I've read often in the past. It was kind of middle of the road. It was a lot better than some, not as good as some, but that's about as much as I can ask for from a first-time author. This is an amazing novel if it is her first novel. Not the best debut that I've ever read, but it's pretty good. However, she had an issue, and that was the fact that she would be, like, talking about something, and you would feel like something would have been cut out. So there's this ball, if you haven't read this, which y'all shouldn't be here if you haven't read this, but during the ball, she is talking about, like, following her cousin. And then the next sentence, she's like, I waved to Kaylin from behind the plant. And I'm like, what plant? What plant are you waving to your cousin from? There are a couple of times that you can tell something was cut out, or like it shows time passing where time didn't actually pass. Been like, I just finished studying with my uncle for the first time, and then like the next sentence would be like, my uncle always confuses me when he talks in these big metaphors, and I'm like, you've known your uncle for a day and a half. What? And my last thing is, I just didn't really understand fully. I feel like the last scene was really rushed. I get it, but I feel like the author didn't really build up enough tension for that for that battle with Morgana. I feel like, and especially when Aurora used dark magic, I was like, whoa, wait, you're using dark magic. You're being told you're using dark magic. I get that it's your horse, but like, it's dark magic. You know, there are some scenes, I feel like if that was going to happen, we should have seen a little bit more of the build up to that. We should have seen her struggling with it a little bit more, or we should have seen more of the battle, or both. I don't know. We should have seen some more in that entire scene. It took place over like 4 pages. I feel like it should have taken at least 10 for the entire fight / healing of the Pegasus / aftermath, whatever. It should have taken more time. The author definitely had some problems with not fleshing things out fully, not taking enough time with specific things, but all in all, it's a pretty good book. I would give it a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I don't want to give it a bad review. This is one of those books that you're like, I know it's bad, but I like it. For me, it actually rates better on a scale. If I'm giving it a rating, a 5-star rating scale, it actually rates better for me than Alienated. While it was probably a lot more tropey and it wasn't the most well-written book, I liked the story better than I liked Alienated, and I liked that I was promised fantasy, and I got me some fantasy. So yeah, I'm hoping that the author does release the second book. I haven't heard any news about it, but I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that it happens, because I absolutely loved this book and I just want to read more. This is a pretty good guilty pleasure for me. Yeah. And this book is squeaky clean. There was maybe one cuss word in the beginning, although I don't think there was a cuss word at all in this book. There wasn't any sexy times. There was some graphic depictions of burning skin. And in the beginning, and it would just talk about my skin blistering and the pain because she was literally being burned by fire magic. So in the end, there was also a time and they just kind of brushed past this. But like about halfway through the book, Raph literally cuts a guy in half with a sword. We never hear anything else about that, but just the fact that he literally went, "I'm gonna cut you in half with a sword," and then there wasn't any blood. There wasn't anything. But it was literally just chop, done, moving past that. And I get it for story purposes, but just reading it and then moving past it immediately was really funny. But yeah, and I want to close this review by saying, I think as booktubers and as book reviewers, we tend to take things a lot more seriously than we should. I started this book and I was going through it and I was like, oh, there's a typo, oh, there's this, oh, there's that. But honestly, when I just put the pen down and only marked the more important things that I wanted to talk about, I really had fun with it. So I think as book reviewers and as people who talk about books constantly, we should keep in mind the fact that we should just have fun with our books as well. We shouldn't always be so focused on understanding and comprehending them, unless we're reading like some big philosophical novel. We really should just read. I get being philosophical on a reread, but the first time you read something, just read it. You know, while it was kind of fun for me to be like, oh wait, that's a trope, I know what that is, you know, I can point that out in my review. It was also fun for the last 100 pages or so just to put the notepad down and just read and just envelop myself in the story and laugh at how love-struck our main character is with Raph. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all soon. Please interact with me either on Twitter or Instagram, where I am at the YA Wizard, on my blog, which is at theyawizard.weebly.com, or down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye, humans.